So what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to do a video for Bitmine Immersion Technology. This is one of the companies that Tom Lee is on the board, and he's trying to get more involved in cryptocurrencies. So this particular company here has created its first ever Ethereum treasury, kind of following the same path as the Bitcoin treasury, trying to be like Strategy and Michael Saylor. Tom Lee sees where the world is going, so he's trying to get on board early so that he become more wealthier. Rather than in Bitcoin, which he probably has some Bitcoin too, he just wants to try to run it with Ethereum. So we're going to try to do a price prediction today for this company, Bitmine Immersion Technology. The ticker symbol is BM. I'm sorry, let me see, BM. If I could get it here, BMNR. Okay, so that's the ticker symbol right there. All right, so now let's go. We're going to first of all, as we do on my videos, we try to identify where prices are for majority of buyers and sellers to be. And we can pretty see clearly where the sellers are, and we can kind of tell where buyers are. So we need to mark these areas, these territories of where we think majority of people will be buying and majority of people will be selling. So let's go and do that first. So the first area we're going to try to identify is where the sellers are. And this one area right here is probably the biggest. So maybe Tom Lee is up in this stock selling the market when Bitmine comes all the way up here to like 69, 67 to 70 bucks. He becomes a seller and he sells a whole lot of his positions out into the market. So that's the sell pocket right there. Okay, so you can see a couple of times this market in Bitmine actually came close to that pocket twice and it got rejected. That's how you can tell that this area is where a lot of sellers are. Because if they wasn't there, then these moves that Bitmine was on would have broken through that sell pocket. Price would have went a lot higher, but it didn't. And we can also add maybe two more pockets of selling, especially right here. It's a sell pocket, and then one more for today. It's also a sell pocket. Now, we got that mark. We know where we think majority of the market sellers are. Now let's do the buyers. Right here is where buyers are. So it's pretty close to where the market closed today, where we think a lot of market participants will be buyers. And here's another one down here. And let's look up for one more, which is over here. And definitely right here. So that's one of the good things about being a chartist is it gives us the ability to see what's going on. It tells us what's being laid out, where people are buyers, where people are sellers. Okay, so watch how powerful this is as time goes on, to how relevant these pockets are. Because for some apparent reason, who knows the reason, we all know the reason here, why price doesn't go no higher than these areas. Why didn't price go no lower than these buy pockets? There's only one reason, because people are buying at that price. Let's look at Bitmine on the 2. Okay, because right now we're definitely in a downtrend. The last couple of 2-day price bars, we've seen price close on the bottom of the bar, which is indicative of people selling and not buying. Because if people were buying, then these closes of these price bars would have lifted off the low, and it would have moved mid-bar, even at the high of the bar. But we didn't see that over the last 3 2-day price bars. Notice that? That's a clue. It's telling you that there's not a lot of buying really going on in the market right now in Bitmine. Look at this on the 3. See right there again on the 3, the market closed smack dab at the very bottom. Where are the buyers at? They wasn't there in the last 3 days, even though there's always a buyer for every seller, but overwhelmingly, the transaction that has occurred was people selling than people trying to buy. Okay, here it is on the 4. Pretty much look like the 3-day chart. Look at Bitmine on the 5. Here it is on the weekly chart. Don't like the weekly at all. We got 20 hours and 31 minutes on the current weekly price bar, but combined with last week, that's almost 2 weeks we've seen this stock close almost on the bottom of the bar. So is it feasible for us to think that there's a high likelihood that this stock is going to try to test this buy pocket? Yes, it is. And if we go and look at this on the 2 weeks, what is the chance of us seeing the market come and test this next buy pocket given the 2-weekly chart? Because these two-weekly price bar is emphatically telling us that someone is selling, and it's probably Tom Lee. Because the market closed on the low of that 2-weekly price bar, and it did it twice, back to back consecutively. You guys can see the close. You cannot lie when it comes to the market. That's one thing that these people cannot do. Even the smartest, most intelligent person on Wall Street is not lying. The moment that they come and press buy, or the moment that they come and press sell, that trade is locked. That's how we're able to tell what is the majority of the market participants thinking. So on the 2 weeks, yeah, it looked like the majority of those people were trying to offload this stock. Here it is on the 3. Okay, so you can see on the 3 that this stock is making higher lows. So we may see a bounce, and it's right there where we have our buy pocket. So yeah, don't get it twisted. We see the same information that they see, even though they may have some fancy high-powered algorithm that's running their system, that's running their company. But the moment that algorithm comes in and plays in the market, it leaves breadcrumbs. So don't get it twisted. You don't have to have high-powered charting software algorithms out here making the bread for you, because you can actually see what they're doing too, and you can get ahead of them. Here it is on the 5 weeks, and let's look at Bitmine on the monthly chart so far. Now, that monthly chart doesn't look good. Look at this monthly bar right there. It went crazy once the news came out that this stock was holding Ethereum as treasury. So the only thing I will be on the lookout for is that buy pocket initially, considering that this stock is trending. So let's go ahead and mark the trend, because I don't want us to not think that we didn't see it, because we did. And it's right there. Okay, so if we're going to see a bounce, it needs to occur tomorrow. Okay, we need to see it happen tomorrow if we're going to get that bounce. That's the only thing that would negate the idea that these sellers are the ones currently moving this stock down. And it looks like it may just be one person, because look at this bar. And then look at this bar. Somebody is straight hitting this stock every so often and trying to push it down. That's not by coincidence. All right, so here it is on the 11 hour. We're just trying to see if there's any follow through, any buyers here yet. We really don't see the buyers in the market on the 11 hour chart. Here it is on the 5. Don't see it on the 5. Let's look this on the 3. Yeah, I'm not too convinced on the 3 yet. Here it is on the 1. Not really convinced yet neither. Even on the 1 hour chart, we got that sell signal triggered. Last time we saw it triggered, market did make a drastic move to the downside. And here it is on the 330. So yes, if anything, I could see two outcomes given the current layout of this chart, is that we may see Bitmine go lower, right? It may go lower, and it may consolidate and hold this buy pocket and continue to try to lift and go higher. That's one scenario. The next one would be seeing this stock completely fall and bounce at this next buy pocket. That's where I'm seeing the potential where this stock is trying to go. Okay, so all eyes is going to be right here. That's where the answer is going to lie. It's going to be right there. So pay attention tomorrow, beginning of next week, to see the price action, because like I told you, they cannot hide their true motives. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to add a prediction looking for Bitmine to go lower. We're going to target this first area here first. Like I said, it could bounce on the top of this buy pocket. We don't know that. But if it does, that's a 4% target there. At the bottom of that pocket, it's around 7.4%. And then we're going to target this next buy pocket, which is 17.88 at $42 and 21.5 at $40.13. That's where we at. Now, only way that this would not work out in our favor would be buyers holding this first pocket. I've already told you that. And that is it. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you maintain profit, and as always, trade different.